This is Ready, Set, Reiki, a podcast about Reiki and all energy work. From the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey, I refer to myself as a guide rather than host, and I too of traveling, learning, and supporting others on this journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy C. Wright, and this is Ready, Set, Reiki. Welcome, Reiki family, Reiki blessings, one and all. Another amazing Ready, Set, Reiki journey that we will be doing together. But before we begin, I invite you to check out Christian Standing Stone. Now, he has a Reiki business collective. Now, this is on Facebook. This is absolutely free. It helps you connect with a Reiki business community. Now, you do not need to have a Reiki business to be a part of this. Perhaps it's something you're curious about, and you're going to learn a lot of great things on there and connect with a wonderful group of individuals on there, all different parts of their journey. So it's just this invitation to know that you are not alone. Don't feel that you have to be on an island, and don't let that business word scare you. Come on, watch, observe, be a part of that community if you choose to. And when you need help and support, they come out in droves to help support you and cheer you on. Christian is very good about letting everyone know, like, hey, let's support each other. Let's share our win. Let's cheer each other on, because when one of us does well, we all do well. So let's begin our journey together. So this fabulous person I have known now for a couple of years. So I was blessed to connect with her on Heal Me. She has come from a client to a student to a friend. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Coventina Waterhawk. Now, she is an international bestseller. I connected with her, a month or two ago, and she's already racked up amazing accolades. So she is a Reiki master teacher. She's an intuitive guide, motivational speaker. She does angel tarot, oracle card reading, mental and health and addiction recovery, and she helps trauma survivors. And so she's going to tell you all the wonderful and amazing things that she has been up to. So welcome to Ready, Set, Reiki.
Hi, thank you. It's great to be here.
Great. All right. Well, let's begin our journey together. So I told our listeners just a little bit, but there is so much more. It seems every time I check in with you, you've got another amazing thing that's happening in your life. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I am Coventina Waterhawk, an intuitive guide, and I actually empower people who have dual diagnosis to live in recovery without shame or stigma. And I share my 40-year experience. I'm in my 40th year of recovery now. And I just tell them, I share with them how I managed to stay sober this long and mentally stable for a long time as well. And I've been helping other people. I've been doing book signings to raise funds for the Suicide Prevention Task Force. And that's been a really great experience. I did an author talk and book signing at my library. And that led me to one of the people in the audience he works at the local radio station, and he said, hey, I think it would be great to be on the show again. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's in the works. Yeah, there's just been a lot of other things happening this year. My book, I entered into a few different awards. My book won all three of them. And so the first one was the Book Fest Awards, and it won second place. And then the Positive Impact Awards, I'm a finalist. And they said that the winners were going to be announced in December. And I'm patiently waiting. Okay, when are you going to announce the winners? And then the International Impact Awards, my book won first place in both categories. So my book is all about the mental illness and substance abuse, and then finding recovery and balance. And it has just taken off. And I did not foresee that happening. I wanted that to happen, but I didn't know that it was going to actually happen until it's been happening. So yeah, this year I've just been really busy with the book signings, focusing on the book, and also trying to share with other people my journey of recovery. And now, last Thursday, I just began teaching a holistic IOP group at the local dual diagnosis hospital. And I'm going to be bringing in, I taught them Reiki. And so I'm going to give them a handout tonight with all the different hand positions for, the first level. And we're going to do my pick-me-up jars tonight. So they're all excited, and it went really well. And I'm just blessed. I'm so blessed.
Beautiful. I love that so much for you because, as I said in the intro, I got the pleasure of knowing you now for a couple of years, and to see how you have blossomed and you have grown. And congratulations on your, recovery and being in this for 40 years and then taking it and helping others. That's what's amazing with this. You took your situation, your kind of mess, and turned it into a message to help others. And that's the true healing in that, if you're able to support and encourage and rise others up. So thank you for all that you do.
Yes, thank you. Now, earlier this year, I was able to release some relationships that were weighing me down.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like 30 plus year friendships or so-called friendships. And as soon as I let that go, my life just took off. It was this weight that was holding me down because I would get excited about something, and then this person just didn't believe in anything that I was doing. And so it was difficult to share, my joy and my accomplishments because they just, they didn't believe me. So once I finally I want to tell people that don't shit on yourself. Well, now I'm trying not to finally on myself, because the word finally is like another word for should.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I was like, oh, well, I finally was able to. No, it happened in divine timing when it was supposed to happen, when my spirit was ready to accept everything. And I'm a Pisces. I just go with the flow of the energy, which I'm really grateful for. I'm really grateful. So in the mornings when I do my meditation and my Reiki, and my life, like I said, my life has just, blown up. I became a part of POWER, and that's a professional organization of women of excellence recognized. And in July, I think you can see this plaque that way over there. And so I got that plaque for the Women of the Month in July. And then I did not realize, but until they contacted me, that in September, they awarded me one of the Women of the Month. And they put my book at the top of the page of their book corner of their magazine, their fall magazine. Everything just keeps happening. And like I said, I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I received a call about a week and a half ago. I received a call out of the blue. And I know that it's not out of the blue, that it's all, the universe working, from a producer from CU News, and that's Close Up News, wanting to set me up with an interview with Jim Masters, who's an award-winning interviewer and on PBS. I had no idea. And I was, yesterday I was going over the press release that they're going to do and the questions being asked. And I'm the one that's putting this together. It's like, okay, well, that didn't resonate with me, so I'll tweak that. So I'm getting ready to send it back to them saying, okay, this is what I really want you to say. Mm-hmm. I want to put in there my 40 years of recovery. I want to put in there, about my book is now a 3-time award-winning #1 bestseller, those types of things. So I am in control of this interview that's going to happen next month. Beautiful. Yeah. With those national news.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's like you're a hot air balloon, and once you let go of that baggage, it like got you right into that jet stream that just
Yes.
took you to these magical places. I love that. So, we have a Reiki journey here, and so when did Reiki, all these accomplishments that you've had? I know you're a Reiki master. When did Reiki come into your life, and would you say that you found Reiki or it found you?
Oh, I completely believe that it found me because I was at a metaphysical store just doing my tarot readings. However, the owner just happened to be a Reiki master teacher. And so that's how I became certified with my first couple of levels and began doing Reiki in that area and practicing on friends when I didn't really need to practice because I didn't realize that I had that gift as well until that happened. And my first client, her paternal grandfather showed up. It's like, what's happening? So I didn't know that I had the gift of mediumship until that moment. So that I've been able to just tell my clients ahead of time, okay, this might happen. I just want to, let you know ahead of time, not to freak out. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does, happen. And so it's just like another avenue for me to carry the message of hope to other people is, through the Reiki and teach them that, Reiki really does help. And especially when you do it on a regular basis, you're more calm, you're more, the less stress, the more clarity that you have each day. And then you can embrace whatever comes up, good, bad, or indifferent, because you have that support of the energy.
Beautiful. Now, when we go on your website, you have a very long list of all of the wonderful modalities that you're trained in, right? All this beautiful experience that you've had. So when you look at energy work, when you're connecting with people, when you share with them, oh, I'm a Reiki master, I do this, I'm intuitive, what are some of the misconceptions that you're finding that people are saying back to you about energy work?
Well, I just try to let them know that we're all made of energy. And they're like, what? I said, well, just think about your heart pumping the blood and the blood going through your body. Isn't that energy? I mean, energy is movement. That's all it is. And then I share with them my skepticism in the very beginning for a few years after I was certified. I don't know if this is going to work when I know darn well deep inside that it will. I in fear, putting that fear in there that maybe they're not going to experience anything. And what I share with my clients is that you may not feel anything during the session, but Reiki is very subtle and it'll happen when it's supposed to, but it continues to work. And that's what happened with me after my certifications. And I think it was about 5 months later, my teacher was doing a healing on me and she put her hands on my knees and she looked up and asked, when's the last time you used your cane? And I had been walking with a cane because my left knee was so painful at the time. And I could not answer her question. I had no idea when I stopped using the cane. I had no idea when my knee stopped hurting. No idea. It wasn't like one morning I was really aware, hey, my knee, it doesn't hurt anymore. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was just suddenly, it was just very subtle. So I tell people that, and that it will just continue to work as long as it needs to, and to just open yourself up to that. I just, especially with skeptics, I just say, go to my website and read my testimonials.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes when I read them, I'm like, oh, really? I had 3 clients that had broken ribs that they healed up faster than their doctors expected. I thought, oh, okay, well, that was their experience. You know what I mean? So I try to let people know how powerful Reiki is and how you can implement it into your daily life and find that peace. And along with the archangels too, they work really well with the Reiki. Archangel Shamuel, he is the one of personal peace, and that goes, right with Reiki energy. that type of thing. So it's like a little bit of everything that I add into my life. Whatever works, that I'm going to try. If it works, great. I'll start doing it. If it doesn't work for me, well, then it doesn't resonate with me. And I'm not supposed to be doing that. And it's not like it's not right or wrong. It's just, like one of my mentors used to remind me that it doesn't matter why, because I always want to know why, because it has to make logical sense to me. And she would always say, it doesn't matter why, it just is. I'm like, sometimes because we want to know why. And that happened with the International Survivors of Suicide Day, where I was doing some more book signings, and we were talking about our experiences. And like we had parents and grandparents and friends and all of these different groups of people that have lost a loved one to suicide. And I chimed in and I said, it does, because they want to know why. Why did that happen? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter why, it just is. And I'm thinking, well, apparently these people that, take their own life, obviously they were in so much pain that they didn't see any way out. And so people just, they don't understand that. And because I come from personal experience with my life with suicidal ideation since I was 7. And, a couple of times I, made my attempts, and that's where I was. I was at this devastating lowest part of my life. I saw no way out. And then, of course, I got mad. Oh, I failed. But I'm really grateful that I did, because here we are now, all these years later, and so I try to share with loved ones. Yes, it's painful, but for me, if I keep in the why, that's going to keep me in that perpetual pain, and I can't grow and grieve and heal that if I keep asking why.
Right. Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, many people probably are listening to this and really resonate with that. And it's nice to have someone that comes forward and said, I'm going to be so bold and to share this with you and to be supportive and helpful. So motivational speaker, and, you're helping those out there, these trauma survivors, and sharing your story for those that, kind of want a little bit, more content if they can't hear you in person, or they can't get their hands on the book, or they're exploring your website. What are some of the challenges or maybe a struggle that you faced in your own healing journey?
Well, for me, it was getting the help that I needed. I was dismissed by nurses and doctors when I was screaming for help. You're not really bipolar, or you're just stressed out over your divorce, or you're just stressed out because your other husband is dying, or whatever it is. And I'm like, no, it's not from the abuse from my first marriage that I became suicidal. I had suicidal ideation since I was 7. You know what I mean? And it was like long before this man came to my life. And and then one time I was struggling with the intrusive thoughts again, and I asked my friend, please take me to the hospital. So we were kind of like laughing and a little bit, and it helped, reduce those thoughts. And when the nurse asked me, so why are you here? And I said, because I'm suicidal. And she said, well, you don't look suicidal. And I got right in her face and said, well, what the F is that supposed to look like? You know what I mean? I mean, it was just like, but then again, that was back in 2004. So what do I expect? And even doctors, and so I just had to speak up over and over and over again to get the help I needed to survive. Even if your voice cracks, scream out for help. I don't care how many times, until you find the right provider to help you. Just, and then there's the 988, where people can call in, in crisis, that they have somebody to speak with until they find, the actual help. I'm on a mission to make mental health the same as physical health, because after all, our brain is a physical part of our body. Yeah. And yet we're being treated like we're the headless horseman. They don't oh, well, that's different, or, oh, that's your fault, or because they, they, um, they look at the behaviors, right? And so they don't see that these behaviors are a symptom of an illness. It's just like me when I get into a little bit of the mania with the bipolar. I get super flirtatious and I spend money I don't have and all of these things. And so people just judge me by my behavior. And yet they don't say, oh, are you having trouble with being on your meds or, your mental health or what's happening? Nobody knows because they don't know what the real signs and symptoms are. And because we're judged, it's completely misunderstood. People are afraid of it because they don't want to talk about those deepest, darkest, moments that people have. People say trauma, and then, but what was the trauma? It's like, let's get into the specifics so we can heal that specific trauma, because if I didn't approach it, like one of my quotes is, therapy is a double-edged sword. You have to face the pain to heal it.
Yeah.
So I'm, hey, and I will be, a support person for you going through your healing journey because Reiki really helps. I've helped people with chemo. I've helped people heal all kinds of different things in their life with the Reiki. And, it's like being of service, right? Ever since my first day of sobriety, it was all about being of service to other people.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So since Reiki was such a huge part of your recovery and sharing with the world, when it's time for you to get an energetic tune-up or when you've chosen your teachers, what are some qualities that you look for in a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki master teacher?
Well, I try to investigate and see if there's any testimonials, those types of things. For me, it's the testimonials. It's the reviews. It's those, what is consistent with a certain person. And, because like for me, the Reiki really helped my mental health. I hadn't been hospitalized since I've been Reiki certified.
Sure.
And so that was the catalyst for me to finally see, here we go with the that I was able to have that balance, complete balance in my life, which enabled me to just soar and go after my dreams and believe in myself. And so, yeah, I really look at the reviews. And also when I see somebody's picture, I intuitively get a hit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this person is for me, or, you know what I mean? So I look and I'm like, no, no. Oh, you know what I mean? Those types of things.
Sure.
It's my intuition. It's how the inside of me, because I always tell people that little thinger inside, that intuition, that higher self, to really pay attention to that. And I go by that, so yeah, so that's what I do.
So you have a long list, again, on that website of yours, all your credentials, all of your trainings, and someone who's just beginning, they're just starting out, they're just curious. What advice would you give them if they are deciding to enter into spiritual work?
Well, what I would say, for me, the spiritual work is all about my intuition, because my intuitive is connected to a higher source. It helps guide me. Yeah. So I just tell people, go with the flow of your energy. If you're thinking about something, then try it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's just like in this IOP class, and I gave them my book the other night, and, we were talking about the different coping skills, and whichever ones that resonate with you, those are yours.
Yeah.
And if something doesn't resonate with you, it's not good or bad. It's just not for you.
Yeah.
It's like I talk about people, with the the center of our being is just like a wheel, the center of a wheel. And then you have all these spokes to the wheel. All the spokes are the different beliefs around the world. And whichever spoke you resonate with the most that connects you in here, that's your spoke,
Right.
and just because your spoke is not the same as mine, does that mean that mine's right and yours is wrong?
Right.
Not at all. You just follow your own heart.
Yeah, my teacher always said it's like when you go to a buffet, you have your plate. You don't have to take everything in the buffet. Pick and choose what resonates for you, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, what books do you recommend?
The number one book that really helped change me after I was certified was Dr. Eric Pearl and his Reconnection, his book of Reconnection. And it says, heal others, heal yourself. That really, it was a super easy read. I think I read the whole book in like 2 days. It was just amazing. And then probably my book, if you're struggling with both, the Duly Diagnosed, Duly Blessed from Struggle to Purpose, this one, the award winner. And because this is also really good for family and friends to better understand what's happening with their loved one. And the coping skills can also help their family and friends apply those coping skills to their life so that they can be helpful and not codependent or enabling. Because there's a fine line between being helpful and codependent. And yeah, so there's a lot of solutions. There's a lot of different stories with different experiences from people. Like one gal had postpartum depression and anxiety to where she almost lost her life in her baby's first year of life, those types of things. And then a veteran who had a service dog and, those types of things. There's a gal that has ongoing PTSD from an inner ear issue. And she created comic strips. And now she has, I think, 7 volumes over the years that she has made with music and like really angry music. Like, why are you doing that? That kind of thing. But that's her outlet, to cope with that issue. Yeah. So if anybody is struggling or they know of somebody that's struggling, that's a really great book. And I don't say that because I'm the one that wrote the book. It's for everybody, and it's from 12 other people. It's not just my story and my message. It's their message too.
Beautiful. I have my copy signed. So what other services do you offer? Trainings, events, classes?
Well, I offer an empowerment coaching session. It includes a card reading, and then we do some Reiki healing, and then we'll end it with a wellness plan, like a checklist of things to do, and then a 30-minute follow-up in either 30, 60, or 90 days, when whatever type of support they need. And then I do either the reading or the Reiki separately. And then I also am a speaker. Right now, I'm having a 1-year anniversary special of the book because the 13th is the anniversary. So I'm offering a card reading and the book for only $55. That people can, you'll get a signed copy, of my book. And so that's what I'm offering right now.
Right, that's quite a deal.
Yes. Because I can look, at the price of, just a reading right next to on the service.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's like, that kind of thing. And so I want people to have access to the book, regardless whether or not they can pay for it or not.
Right.
When I did a book signing at the hospital where I met the gal that wanted me to lead the IOP group, there were a lot of their patients that didn't have any money. And I'm like, here you go, sign, here you go. Because it's not about making the money. It's about getting the message out there and helping other people, And so all of that is coming back to me. And the other thing too, is that when when I got my certification for the crystal and chakra healing, I completely forget every now and then that it is a registered school with the Complementary Medical Association. I keep forgetting that. Hey, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And then when I was looking at when my book became #1 in the first week on Kindle, I was like, oh, I'm a number. And then this healing book, this other healing book right here, that was a gold bestseller and it sold out with 40,000 copies, but it was published in Canada. And so I was like, oh, that makes me an international best-selling author. Yeah. And then I was thinking, oh, well, back in 2012, I was a co-author in the anthology of Mermaids 101 with Doreen Virtue. That was a bestseller. So I was, wow, I've actually been a best-selling author since 2012, and I had no idea, those types of things. So, when I realize all of the things that I have accomplished on my journey, it's just fascinating. I mean, it's just like, wow, I'm in awe most of the time.
Beautiful. I love it. So where can we find you if we want to get in touch with you, connect with you, get a session with you?
My website is the go-to place, and it's CovenTinaWaterhawk.com. And I'm all over social media. You just Google, my name. I'll pop up. So if you could, follow, subscribe, whatever, you do, like either Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, I'm there. You can find me. And the great thing is if you just go to my website, it'll have all of the links on my website for these social media accounts. So
yeah, beautiful. I love it. All in one. So that ends the first part of our journey. I'm going to guide you into the second part, which are questions from listeners and from Reiki students. So here we go. Number 1, if someone is struggling and reaches out to you, what would a session with you look like?
Well, we would get together either on Zoom or in person if they're in my area. And we will start with a brief meditation. I will have you close your eyes and do a visualization and inhale and exhale, because after all, it's only one breath at a time, right? So I really try to have people hone in on that and, feel their belly rising and falling, with those breaths. And, to clear your mind a little bit so that you're more open to whatever messages are coming through, either when the Reiki happens or reading, occurs, then they're more open to receiving those messages. And so that's what I do, is I do a meditation and then the reading for clarity and then the Reiki for the healing.
Beautiful. Number 2, what was the catalyst for change in your life that allowed you to see and have that desire for change?
Well, that was in the very beginning of my recovery 40 years ago when I reached a bottom in my alcoholism and drug addiction. I had become very abusive to my babies, and I called CPS on myself. And I said, come get them. I don't want to hurt them anymore. I don't know how not to. And one officer said that he had been on the force for 18 years working in the child services. And not once had they ever had a parent ask for help and that I was doing the right thing. And that stuck with me until this day. So they were in separate foster homes, and then their dad got custody. And so I was, and I believe that my higher power did that to remove my children from me so that I can concentrate on my recovery, because I was, looking at all these other parents and they were always stressed. And no, I needed to have a focus on a path of recovery first before they came back into my life. And I'm really grateful that I was able to embrace that and accept it instead of fight it, because I always saw, other moms fight it. And that was their main goal, was to get them back. And it's like, well, they're not a possession, and because they're battling with the father, I'm like, no, the girls probably have they have a better chance of a better life with their dad, even though he abused me. Doesn't mean that he's going to abuse them. And then I can focus on my recovery and then be that balanced mom for my daughters when they come visit. So yeah, that was definitely the catalyst for me.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with our listeners. And it's very powerful. And hopefully someone's hearing this. And if they're struggling and they need help, they can reach out to you or to reach out and know there's other resources out there. Number 3, you have 4 decades of dual diagnosed recovery, which helped you today to be of service for others. In your experience, as you look back, why is it so important to live one day at a time?
Oh, it gets so overwhelming. Whenever I focus on tomorrow, that's anxiety. Whenever I, live in yesterday, that's guilt and remorse and, unhappiness. But when I live in the moment, in this breath, that's where it's at. It's the present moment because that's all we have. I mean, we only have one breath. And it's just like when people ask me, so what time is it now? They're like, no, what time is it now? It's now again. So like I have a picture of a clock and it says now, because that's all we have, right. and like I said, a lot of times, like when my mom passed, I lost the will to live, completely lost it. And for 5 months, I was hanging on, for dear life because those thoughts just came back with a vengeance. Mm-hmm. And luckily, I'm so grateful that I have another friend who also has, the same challenges that I have. And she asked, have you ever thought about naming your unsafe thoughts? I was like, no, because then when you do that, that creates a barrier between the thoughts and the action. So the first word that came to my mind was Dracula. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with it. It's like, Dracula, go, leave me alone. And no matter how thin that barrier is, it was enough for me to take another breath and another breath until something changed. And, like I said, with the Reiki, it's just so subtle that that went away. It wasn't like I woke up one morning and said, hey, I'm not suicidal anymore. It wasn't like that. It was just the journey of, was subtle of how it happened. And I'm so grateful for Reiki. I really am.
Thank you. Well, I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, that was our last question. And as we've been talking, is there something you might have forgotten or something you want to share with the listeners? The floor is yours.
Well, if you're having problems, they're not your fault. It's not your fault. And try to get, the help that you need. There's so much help out there, nonprofits. There's, NAMI, and there's, other ones that really take the time to help. They guide you in the right direction and the right path. And I'm really grateful that we do have these nonprofit organizations that are out there to help people with mental illness or substance use disorder. And it's just like locally here with the Suicide Prevention Task Force. I attend their Survivors of Suicide group. And yeah, the number one thing, though, is to realize that you're having problems and to speak your problems. And like I said before, speak up even if your voice cracks, because it's a matter of life and death, literally life and death. Because my friend Melissa, she just disappeared, and her family did not say anything. They did ask for money for funeral expenses, but there was no funeral or celebration of life or anything. She just disappeared. And I believe that it was because the family was ashamed that their loved one took their own life.
Yeah.
And, because there's that stigma. And the stigma really keeps people from healing and out of that and being able to turn around and be there for somebody else, because it's all about the service. Mm-hmm. So when I keep it to myself, I'm not selfish like that. I can't. As soon as I discover something that helps me, I blab it out. I just, scream it and tell the world, hey, try this. So yeah, there is help out there. And 99% of my clients have come to me and are going through something that I've already gone through. Right. And say, oh, well, I did that too. Or, this year I did this, or, so that's how I know that also the Reiki and the higher powers have conspired to have me help others.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for all the work that you do, for being an advocate, right? For helping, supporting trauma survivors, and all the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining me on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey. I've appreciated our time together and getting to know you over the last couple of years. So I'm so grateful for you.
Yes. And I'm grateful for you too. My life wouldn't be what it is if I didn't meet you.
I mean, it's amazing who you find on the journey. And like when I came, I'm in El Paso and you're pretty close. And I was able to support you and be there for you in person, with your book signing. And it absolutely meant the world that I could support you on that journey as well. So thank you, friend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, my beautiful and wonderful listeners, if you would like your question featured on Ready, Set, Reiki, reach out, www.readysetreiki.com, or check me out on social media. I'm Tracy C. Wright, and this has been Ready, Set, Reiki.